My name is Hugo Corbett, and this video is aimed at summarizing our presentation and providing insight into Viking raids. There will be accurate reconstructions for visual aid. At the River Stour in Suffolk, the local Anglo-Saxon population would have been very frightened at the sight of several Viking longboats rowing upstream, and we know there was an Anglo-Saxon presence in this location because of these interesting fish traps. And if you look over to the left, you have some Viking longboats preparing for a raid on this Anglo-Saxon settlement. Initially, the Anglo-Saxons feared the Vikings and fled at signs of attacks. In particular, this was because the Vikings used hit-and-run tactics, which meant the Saxons had no warning and could not engage the Vikings. Here we have an example of an Anglo-Saxon. Here we have an example of a Viking. Vikings didn't have horns. That's better. This is an example of an early Viking attack. This Anglo-Saxon is completely unaware of the nearby Viking presence. Vikings used the element of surprise. As well as hit-and-run tactics. This Saxon is underprepared and not ready to fight back. Later on, the Vikings were engaged by the Saxons as the Vikings began to settle and use armies on land. They no longer aimed to steal treasures but to trade. They wanted new lands in which to live, away from the harsh climate of their Scandinavian homeland. An example is the Battle of Maldon, which took place in Essex in 996. Here we have a contemporary reenactment of Saxons engaging Vikings in a later raid. This is an example of a later Viking raid. Here the Viking cannot sneak up quickly enough, and the Anglo-Saxon feared notices and engages the Viking.
Oh look, a Viking!
Oh! Eventually, the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings agreed to share their land, the Vikings in the north and the Anglo-Saxons in the south. Thank you for watching this presentation. Goodbye.